4 weeks ago, Frances Haugen told us that Facebook put its profits ahead of our welfare and the health of the American political system. When the internet appeared first, many of us saw something that we thought was going to help us live the lives that we wanted to live. But somehow Facebook seems to have transformed this into something that's forcing us to live the life that others want us to live. Decades before Facebook was a glimmer in its father's eyes, Pfizer and other pharmaceutical companies took an algorithm that we call randomized controlled trials, RCTs, and by sequestering clinical trial data and ghostwriting the articles about those trials, transformed it into the one algorithm to rule us all. Prior to that, RCTs had been a way to help us live the life that we wanted to live with new drugs and vaccines. After it, RCTs became a way to force us to live the life that Pfizer wanted us to live. Company RCTs separate the information we have about drugs and vaccines into sheep and goats. The sheep are the information Joe Biden wants you to know, that vaccines are harmless, a little bit of a sore arm, and they save everybody. The goats are the misinformation. And Pfizer wheeled their RCTs to brand what happens on Facebook platforms where people like Bree and Cody and others meet and try to get to grips with what has happened to them after this vaccine and is there any way to put things right? Brand that as misinformation. Pfizer have been using their RCTs to do this for decades in respect of Zoloft and all of their other drugs, and in so doing have harmed us more and our children more than any Facebook algorithm or Instagram algorithm has done. Just like Facebook, they know what they're doing and are putting profits ahead of our safety. And in the case of the American political system, in the form of mandates, they're doing as much, if not more, harm to it than any Facebook electoral algorithm has done or might do. When it comes to free speech, most people figure it's your right to say white if I say black. In terms of doing science, it's absolutely something you should think about doing. But at the moment, the government and Pfizer are forcing us to not recognize that black is black. And when it comes to this, we're in a situation that is more than defending free speech. We have to stand up against tyranny. Facebook tell you that to engage with them, that to get the information you want, you've got to accept other information you may not want. We've no way to look beneath the Facebook bonnet and see, can we tweak the algorithm to make sure we get less misinformation and are less likely to be censored? In exactly the same way, Pfizer wants you to think that to get their treatments, you've got to accept the information that they give us. If you have to look beneath the Pfizer bonnet, it's not science, it's business. And that's the problem we have, because you cannot get to see the data. What Pfizer are offering you is not scientific information, it's promotional material. They're not in the business of looking after your safety. They're in the business of selling treatments and making money. They're not attempting to help us live the lives that we want to live. They're in the business of forcing us to live the life that Pfizer want us to live. Data is the bedrock of science. You have some data here. You've got people like Bree and Maddie who are in trials. Your job is to look at what happened to them and listen to the story and work out whether you think what they're telling you is correct rather than the fanciful tales that you hear from Pfizer. Now, to be sure, you're going to figure out when you interview them and cross-examine me that your view can only be provisional. It's not absolutely true, but that's what science is. It's provisional views that you may revise later on. It's not science if you can't see the data, and you cannot see the data from Pfizer trials, but you have the data here in the form of people who've been harmed. And if you spread the story that your impression is that the vaccines have caused this, you will get people working on the issue of, well, how does it cause this? If you don't spread that story, you've become part of the problem and you're doing the job that Pfizer wants you to do. Pfizer don't do science. They do business. FDA know and enable this. If we accept mandates without data, we are opening the door to tyranny. Thank you.